Welcome to the Anchored Mind podcast. My name is Michael.
And I'm Kristen, and we are on a mission to redefine care by combining counseling, nutrition, and fitness so that you can live a better life.
You may have noticed that we're not in our normal podcast space. Well, that is because we are in the new facility that we are currently renovating. And with that, you may hear some beeping sounds because we actually don't know how to turn that off. There's also some ripped up carpet tiles and doors and windows. And so
Ladders,
ladders,
everything.
yeah, all kinds of stuff. So it's really cool to watch this space begin to transform, and we're so excited to see what it will become. But until then, we thought it'd be kind of cool to film a podcast episode in it.
That's right.
And in today's episode, we're going to get really real. We're going to be talking about our dreams, really in the midst of pursuing one and waiting on the other. How, as we're entering this new exciting season of Anchored Mind, as positive as that is, and as rewarding as it can be, there are a lot of costs, and those costs start at home.
I'm going to dive right in.
Here we go.
So, probably this all started, what we have run into probably started a long time ago because you and I love to
Mhm.
dream together. And we've also been building this business together. So, those two worlds have been merged.
Well, let's be real. We're always doing something. We don't really know how to sit still.
That's true. That's true. But recently, we've probably started to feel more stress filled, more sickness. We're in the midst of, the months where colds and flu are there. And so shorter nights, less sleep.
Yeah, I think context matters. And, what's interesting, I think a lot of people, at least in our spheres, started out this year with just this cascade of different types of flus and head colds and who knows whatever else. And what's interesting now in hindsight, looking back, when sickness forces you to slow down, I think it just helps you take an opportunity to reflect. And I wish I could say that I was reflective when we were in this first month of the year. But sometimes I'm a little slow and delayed in
And
recognizing
working a lot.
important things. Yeah. Thank you. That was
Mhm.
honoring. Yeah. And so I th- really what I think happened was we fell off our rhythms and routines. And as we were kind of in this rebound position, it prompted us to take a closer look at just this momentum that we've been in before the sickness, leading up to this new year. And yeah, it was kind of a spot check.
Yeah. I think that we do a really good job of dreaming together and talking about dreams. And I think that's really kind of what this episode is anchored in. Why did it take a turn?
I think it was like a build of hurt that you were experiencing,
Yeah,
maybe in like
because
in the form of letdown.
you and I are different people. That's why we
Yeah.
complement each other, but we are definitely different people and came into our marriage with different desires and goals and dreams, like most
Hmm.
couples do, that really balance each other well, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say? And I think that's what's been so beautiful about our marriage. But if we are not communicating about that and not addressing those things and really rehashing them regularly, we can easily kind of get off course and not be holding and caring for those differences well.
Yeah. Would it be okay if I just started with my context?
Yeah,
Not as a defense, just laying the groundwork here, and then I'll get into my
you
shortcomings.
can defend yourself, it's fine.
So yeah, just laying the groundwork, sharing some context. The pursuit of this expanded anchored mind really is the original vision. And the original vision started with my grandparents. They essentially came from nothing in a foreign country, made it to the States, and started a chicken farm as they learned English and built a family. And somehow were able to move on from that chicken farm. And my grandfather's dream was to build a motel. Him and my grandmother ran it together, and they had different roles. So they kind of divided and conquered. But getting to grow up, as a grandchild and seeing that, and then how it just served the community, but also took care of the family, I just thought it was awesome. And they did that together. So I think it's always been in the back of my head, combined with my passions for just health in general, but specifically fitness and nutrition and now mental health. A lot of how this is all manifested, I didn't plan. I couldn't plan. And I certainly didn't plan on getting so lucky as to marry someone like you.
Oh,
And so, yeah. So it's just been a gift of how everything has kind of come together. And really like this dream that's unfolding of serving the community, of having a family business, that actually does good, that helps people from the inside out. It's just so missional, right? And the unfortunate part of that is there's like 20 years technically of this like building up. And now that it's finally almost a reality, my here's my shortcoming. I can get so hyper focused, and in that hyper focus, make assumptions, lose sight of other important things that actually are more important than the mission itself. And yeah, I think that's really what this episode is diving into is what is the collateral damage of pursuing a mission that's driven by your heart.
Yeah. And a couple weeks ago is really when we kinda had the first breakdown from that process, and I think I felt really upset and felt let down and sad and defeated and all the things because I too came into this marriage with dreams and desires and really excited to have us, I would probably call it a simple lifestyle in some ways, just time with you and time with our family and
You mean more
build
simple than this?
building moments together and slowness and time to have coffee and time to talk and time to be a little family. And I feel like some of those dreams have felt like they're off track. And I started to feel a little,
Mm.
yeah, defeated in that way. Like it's going to be a long time before we reach that, or we're heading in a course that's not heading towards those goals at all.
Yeah. So really, I think it was a couple weeks ago where we entered this like collision course, and part one of our conflict, which was really just her. She's communicated this to me before, and I feel like a doofus, but it was really just this. Hey, I really need you to hear me. I have a dream too, and I want to be dreaming about it with you. And my mistake was to assume, well, we don't need to be, nurturing that dream now because it's not a potential reality yet. Like in my mind, there's a timeline. And so there's all this logic and it's valid and it makes sense. But I think what I was missing, and this is the embarrassing part, I'm a marriage therapist that talks to couples about it's great if you can get to solutions, but don't let it be at the cost of connection. And that's what I let happen. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
can I
go
jump
ahead,
in?
please.
And I think that you heard my dream as a destination and not necessarily a journey.
Ooh,
Yeah.
profound. Yeah, I really like how you frame that. That's very accurate. And I think, just vulnerably, that's probably me being selfish and protecting my vision.
Protecting the journey we're on
As-
currently with, yeah.
yes. And in the part two, I think was, well, in between part one and part two of our collision course was me assuming that you were on board. It was assuming that, oh, well, she knows that this is on a timeline. And I'm assuming she loves being a part, let's just get real here, loves being a part of Anchored Mind and building it with me. Like we're in this together.
And I
And then
do.
yeah.
I just really, really, really one of my life's desires is to live out a balance where
Yeah.
we're not missing the moments at home and when I'm not away from you all day and just seeing you after I've left you dinner on the countertop
Mm,
and like ships in the night basically. And I
yeah.
don't want that for our family or our kids and I was feeling like there's really no light at the end of the tunnel right now.
Yeah.
And that made me feel as if you weren't holding and caring for my dream as much as you were yours.
Well, that's the tragedy is I wasn't, just to confess it. Yeah.
Well, because you were looking at it as a timeline. Like there's one thing first, one thing next in your defense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very sweet of you. But I think this part two, this conversation we just had this past weekend, and like, it actually kind of helped when I don't think your family meant to get involved, but,
Right.
when they indirectly let me know that there's concern, right? That are you really being a good leader for your family while you're building this expanded practice together? And that was very convicting, and it certainly doesn't align with who I'm pursuing becoming as a husband and father before I'm a clinician and business owner.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I just think that's a really good point to to stop at because I think that the reason that my family even got involved, and this was really this weekend that we started to talk as a family a little bit more, is because I think this is just important for everybody. Like if we aren't consciously talking about our dreams or talking about the things that are in our gut or maybe not making us feel 100%, if we're not communicating about those and holding those things for each other, they're going to come out some way or another to the people
Mhm.
around us. Someone's going to feel it from us, right? We can't just internalize that and hold those things, or it's going to damage us in one way or another. So I think that my family probably started to feel the weight
Yeah.
of that from me, even though it necessarily wasn't verbal. They could feel that weight, and yeah.
Well, and that's the part that, to be honest, it just sucks because, we're in it and we know everything that's required of this season. We're raising 3 beautiful little girls and a dog and a bunny. And, life is a lot right now, especially with just this season that we're in overall. But it's not supposed to be your family protecting you anymore. It's supposed to be me protecting you and honoring your dreams. And I have lost sight of that in this crazy season. And that was the beautiful part of this collision course is it was a prompt to revisit my role, my responsibility as your partner. And even though logically, kind of upstairs brain perspective, reality, we can't literally go after your dreams yet. We're stuck in a very complex situation. We're taking care of my mom. She lives in our home. We are kind of anchored, to our practice in
Yes,
this
but it's not
building.
a destination, it's a journey.
And so in honor of the journey, to your point, what I lost sight of was what I sit with couples all the time is it's not about the solution, it's about the connection.
Mm,
And now I'm clear that my role until we can actually make your dreams happen is to still dream with you
mhm.
and not just expect you to only show up. I know it's our shared dream, but let's be real, like I know this is my dream and I have to be aware of that you probably would not have chosen this, but you are part of this and you are supporting it.
Absolutely.
And so I know, of course, it's only fair for me to do the same back for you.
Yeah. So what does that look like if even if we're speaking to other people here, like if your partner holds a dream, or if you're sharing a dream with your partner that isn't necessarily achievable right now, but we want to hold that for each other, and is that making plans towards that dream? Is it just communicating about it more often? I know for me, it would mean a lot if with every step we took in our lives that we were kind of analyzing,
Yeah.
how does this impact your dream? How does this impact mine? And how do we care for this together?
Well, I think fully agree. I think where we landed was, to me, your dream not only is the next step, but ideally it's the long term kind of endpoint. Like your dream is going to be where our family lands and is for the long haul. And so to me, we're reverse engineering your dream. And anything that happens with Anchored Mind is not to interfere with that. Hopefully it's kind of like a slinky where it supports each other. That's, my idealism here,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So if I just dream about being able to see all the stars at night and not have the headlights interrupt or the street lights or something like that, like we can probably find pieces of that dream and pull them into our daily lives or our
If
weeks
I
or
were a
something.
listener right now, I'd want to know what your dream is. Maybe you should just go
I
and
don't know.
share it.
My dream is to walk out and look at land and have a cup of coffee and you know feel the sunshine and see the stars at night, and I really like simple and peaceful things. So as we get busier and as we live in this life with 3 kids and are trying to parent them and do this business and have time for our marriage, it's just those little things that if I would feel so loved if we continue working on ways to pull those into our daily lives
Yeah.
while we're here, while we're in the midst of it, because it makes me feel cared about and it makes me feel loved and not forgotten. And
So here's what I picture because it happened a few weeks ago. We had the rare opportunity, I suggest to clients try and have at least one date night per week, ideally, if not every other week, right? And we're lucky, hopefully, to have one a month. I'm just being real these days. But we were able to go to this really nice Italian dinner, and that was one of my favorite dates with you ever because we got to just kind of have this protective bubble and get lost in it for a little bit and dream together. And I think that's my role is initiating more opportunities to support your dream, to ideate together, to brainstorm, even if it's just conversation. And then, of course, like the little random Instagram dream home videos that, inspire us here and there.
But because really we are the only people who can carry each other's dreams
Yeah.
and carry them well.
We are who we come home to every day.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to thank you for like caring enough to sit in those conversations with me, to talk about the hard stuff, to show me that you care by making adjustments where you can. It means a lot to me.
None of this is worth it if it's not with you and the girls. That's the reality.
So if someone is listening and if someone's marriage or family or partner, whoever they're with, if they have felt that complexity of what maybe expectations bring into their relationship or what dreams or desires maybe are look different than what their partners are. As a marriage therapist, what would you say to
As a
them
man.
or
Well,
how would you encourage them?
I kind of think about most of the guys I work with, and the other side of being a therapist is I'm spoiled. I get to have a front row seat to learning from other people's lives as well and their marriages, what's working, what's not working. And I think without this role, this job that I have, I don't know. To be really honest with you, there's a part of me that's so ambitious that I think I could have screwed this up, just being real. But getting to do what I do gives me perspective, thank goodness, where all of this is not worth it if I don't have you guys at the end of the day. It's not worth the cost. And I think just having that perspective and then seeing a lot of guys struggle with their worth comes from what they do and not knowing who they are. I know who I am. I know who I am to you guys, and that matters more than who I am to people who are going to, just being honest, come and go.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks for listening. If you got anything from this, we'd love to hear from you. Just
Mhm.
a feedback, a comment, a review. Follow along with us for more future episodes and be sure to share with a friend or family member. Thanks for joining us.